Hey, hey, fam, how's it going? Hopefully, you can hear me okay. If not, how would you know? So, put a one in the chat if you can hear me so that I don't waste time. It's late. I never go this late anymore. So, it's going to be a little rough, but just hang in there with me because this live is going to be a doozy. Good, good. Thank you, Miss Rubug. So, we have been into the thick of it, uh, Miss Rubug. And the things that have gone on lately in the Michael Vaughan case, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I was actually expecting and waiting for a group of like minded individuals to get together and conspirize their asses off while I'm blamed for being, you know, the worst of the worst and evil creator and all that stuff just for covering a poor missing boy's case. So, yeah, that's what's been going on here. But yeah, we're gonna get into some of the wackadoodle stuff that I've been listening to, and you know me, when it gets over the top, you're like, Jesus Christ, all right, erroneous, erroneous behavior on all counts. We've got to talk about this because I've had it. um, it's just really annoying, very, very annoying. So yeah, Michael Vaughn's case. If you haven't seen the latest, basically there's nothing really new, but there are hints dropped, I believe, in my opinion, only about his case and kind of where it's at and if it's yielding or not, as JD Huff likes to say. And if you're new to the case in general or new to my channel, this case is from Fruitland, Idaho. Michael Vaughn went missing near his home, at his home, around his home, somewhere by the home, anywhere from allegedly 6:40 to 7 p.m. on July 27, 2021. Hey, Candace. Good to see you. Bryn L. Chrissy Cat. Some new names. Love it. Love it. Uh, Julia XOXO. Hellcat. Good to see you. And any lurkers in the back. Or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hit that like button while you're here. It's free. I'm not going to hate on you for it. So, again, Michael Vaughn went missing near his home, July 27, 2021, in Freeland, Idaho. There was not much going on in that case for a very long time, except for, you know, some movement in November of 2022 and four suspects were named. They live about 4 minute walk away from Michael's home. And Sarah Wandra is one of the suspects who resides in the home along with Stacy Wandra, her husband, and then two jackals from off the streets. Just kidding. But two dudes. One was visiting. His name is Adrian Lucene from hell. Where is he from? Ohio, Toledo, Ohio. He bounces around a lot, but he went to college. Adrian. He had a basketball scholarship. He went to an academy. He did a lot of things. Okay, he's a 6 foot something. What 6'7" um, black man in Idaho. Okay, so probably not the best circumstances if he were to be in Idaho right now, or ever. And then also, Brandon Shurtliff is the friend of Sarah and Stacy who helps drive the taxi um, service. They have a taxi cab business, the Wanderers do. And this is where it gets really, really insane. So they had a search warrant in November of 2022 to excavate the backyard of the Wanderers' house because in April of 2022, Sarah Wandra went to the jail over a dog bone incident with a boy child named Tanner Butler, and ratted off all the secrets to police, which it's his right to do, First Amendment and all. So anyway, she gets into a fight. Sarah Wandra gets into a fight with a friend of Brandon's who was, staying there for a little bit here and there. in 2022. This is a year, not even a year, after Michael went missing, but allegedly Tanner was around during the Michael Vaughan days when he was reported missing. So we don't really know for sure, but I have a feeling it's probably true. See where Tanner's at. Maybe he could speak on that. So she went to jail because, first of all, she is a felon and she's not supposed to have guns. And she put allegedly a gun to Tanner's face after he would not leave. And he cried like a little sissy, called the cops. And then, the rest is history. She goes to jail. She gets out in July of 2022. But Sir Stacy, the month later, after Sarah's arrest in May, he goes to the Slammy, the federal prison, after getting booked for a selling. First of all, having a illegal firearm because he's a felon and selling it. So lying on a form. So he got and he went to jail. Those crimes are unrelated to Michael Vaughan's case, as far as we know. That's what's been repeated many times. And here we are. So Sarah was arrested when they came knocking on her door in November of 2022. Ironically, the day after the tip was sent of our little groupie group. So ironic. We'll get to that one day, maybe in the future, but not now. So she was having a psychotic episode, obviously, bare minimum, when they came knocking on her door and said, "We have a probable cause to search the backyard because your man Stacy allegedly confessed that he's back there buried in the backyard." She goes insane. And the things that she said, like, "God Almighty told me Stacy buried him here, there, and everywhere. And then it was Adrian, and then it was the neighbors." She wasn't making any sense, but she got arrested, which I don't blame the cops for doing that at all. But that failure to report a death charge was dropped. And that's it. That's all we really actually know. We know that dogs hit on a scent. A scent. We don't know if it's Michael's. We don't know whose it is. But of human remains. So we don't know anything more than that yet. And if you hear otherwise, take it with a grain of salt, because even JD Huff says, if you didn't hear it from me, it's bullshit. He said that, not in those words, but he did. Go to the Facebook page or go to the cityofruitland.com/find Michael Vaughan page. That's where you get the most credible information. They have not updated that thing in a very long time, so you're not going to get anywhere. But just a word of caution. Hi, Anna. Hi, Julia XOXO. Good to see you. Hit the like button. Please help your girl out because I'm out of that algorithm. Have been for a hot minute because I don't go live as much anymore. I don't even make content because I've been so busy. All right, so moving on. Now that we got all of that out of the way. And I've just realized my background is missing. Whoops. I'll fix that right now. It's bothering me. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the last week, ever since the roommate, Kelly Miller, came out and said, "I have been recording Stacy. We're going to get him. We're going to catch him. I'm the reason why he got sent back to jail for probation violations." Basically, she pulled a Tanner Butler and went, tattletale. But you know what, Stacy? Shoe on you for violating your probation. It's on you, boo-boo. You know what I mean? Don't do that. And then you wouldn't go back to jail. Don't give people that leverage because they're going to do it. You are a suspect in a missing child's case. Everybody's after you. Even people in prison are currently trying to say that Stacey did confess to this and that in the jail so that they can get leniency on their charges. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's good to see you, Julia. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute. I am so tired, guys. So I apologize. I might not make any sense and start rambling. Just somebody holla at me in the chat. I am exhausted, but I do want to go over this because who knows when I can go live again. So we have PNW missing Crimes Revisited. She, Samantha, is the and her sister, I think, cover or cover missing cases, specifically Kyron Harmon, which I have an update that not even she, I don't think, knows about with that case. Not really an update, but it's a inkling. It's a discovery, if you will, that I did submit to um, the detectives. Unfortunately, with Kyron Harmon's case, it's muckied. It's weird. We'll get to that another day. But she had Kelly Miller, the roommate, ex roommate of um, Stacy Wandra, who she didn't know he was a suspect in Michael Vaughn's case. I doubt that. Something in my bones says bullshit. She was there day, what, I don't know, one, maybe two, three, four, something like that, searching for Michael Vaughn. She's a part of a group that's well known who, let's just say, rode into town and in loud motorcycles and came by the house to, have warm wishes for Michael and his return and for the family, showing their support, which that ties into a lot of things that I'll have to probably get to in another live because there's so much. But I ain't scared. I will go into it. But it's lengthy, okay? So just hang tight. Let's keep it simple for this live, okay? And then we'll move on to more in-depth items. All right, so give me just a second. Let me change this background because it's driving me crazy. I usually do like a blank screen when I'm not live because my stuff is very colorful and it's really distracting. So, one moment. So while that's loading, there is another live that was broadcasted by today. It was Crime Lines and Lies, which boo, um, just a tragedy pimp extreme of all the kinds on many cases. And if you like her and you're in the chat, cool. That doesn't mean I have to, and I never will. She's disgusting, and she lied on my name. She can get fucked. And I mean that with my whole fucking chest. But the things that she says, I mean, she's done it before, and it's just the habitual fat shaming. You did something, did something, like there's actual proof that the police have given us, like we know. First of all, that's evidentiary in nature. And if a grand jury is ever going to indict these alleged suspects, nobody knows the evidence. And nobody should be telling anybody else if they do know. So, because that shit will go right out the window. Bet that. Go look up grand jury, um, the handbook and the prosecution side. Look at the Supreme Court rulings on the legislature for grand jury, summoning a grand jury. If that's true, if these creators know that either, the family of Michael Vaughn is telling everybody, keep it on the low, but here's some evidence, well, you already fucked up because that could be thrown out. And there's an alleged, we saw the interrogation footage. Well, that's a problem. That's a big problem if that's the case, because that's not good. It's not right. I have only seen, very rarely have I seen, maybe once or twice in my life, with true crime being part of my life, where interrogation footage was released before trial. And I think that those things were only because the person was innocent and the cops tried to fuck them over. And yeah, I've never seen interrogation footage being released willy-nilly by a prosecutor ever before trial if they have suspects that they're trying to charge. So somebody let me know in the chat if Idaho has some kind of squirrely law that I don't know about. I've been searching for a minute. So if anybody knows, just let me know. But this alleged interrogation footage that they have seen of Stacy, I mean, that's not making Chris McDonough look good because allegedly he was there, at least at some point. So is he releasing this shit as a third party? I don't know. I hope not. That'd be really awful. But I think Josh from the lab said that he heard it. So wow. Either there's some egregious shit going on with that, or maybe they're not looking to arrest them because they're not going to go to the grand jury to be indicted. I don't know. I could be wrong. Who knows? Nobody would be privy to any evidence, correct? I mean, there are times where the family gets, heads up on certain things and movement, and maybe they do get told certain things, evidentiary wise, but not the full potato. Never. Julia, we only listen to what crap we're left with out of boredom. Yeah. Hellcat, I've never heard of this before. And if Josh heard it, I would assume it's from Chris. Me too. So maybe it's just circumstantial evidence. Let's go ahead and watch the J.D. Huff interview, but we're going to watch a little bit of PNW, Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. Unfortunately, the bird is the word Purple Phoenix, and then maybe a little bit of Crime Lines and Lies. I really can't stomach the bitch's voice, so I don't know if I will. But I'll definitely give credit, if I do, to all of these creators. Give me just a moment. Let me pull it up. I am going to pause a lot. It's going to be annoying with this this interview with J.D. Huff. That was released 2 or 3 days ago? So let's do it. All right. And we might have to hop around some old footage, by the way, to make my point on certain topics. So just bear with me on that. We'll just go to KTVB. I think that's the one that did the update. All right. Let's get into it.
How has this case weighed on you in the last several years?
I can't really explain that in words,
The Fruitland Police Department wants Idahoans to know it hasn't stopped looking for Michael Vaughan. The then 5-year-old known as Monkey disappeared from his home in July of 2021. Abby Davis has been following this story, and Abby, the chief, says they're still sifting through tips and conducting searches.
Jude, he says the case isn't cold even as the 4-year anniversary of Michael's disappearance approaches.
This is one of the worst case scenarios for any small city.
The disappearance of Michael Monkey Vaughan.
He is energetic, very inquisitive, loves the moon and stars.
Brandy Neal's second youngest.
He wants answers to everything. He wants to know how everything works.
Neal wears reminders of him as she tries to make sense of all that's happened since the phone call from Monkey's dad that forever changed their lives in July 2021.
He was frantic and told me he couldn't find Michael.
I'd just gotten home from work.
It's a day Fruitland Police Chief J.D. Huff will never forget either.
I received a phone call from my captain. He just explained that we had a missing child.
Huff.
That would be Cy Armstrong. Yes. That's the captain. Man, could you imagine getting home from 110-degree weather, long day at the office of criminal matters, and damn it, but that's your job. That's what you signed up for, and you do it. But I could feel like he probably was not expecting what he was about to endure with this case.
Huff says it soon became clear this case was different.
In those places where we would commonly see or find those children that were, lost for a little while, all of those areas had been checked, and Michael was not there. We started looking.
Very interesting that that picture was the one they faded out of with that. And there, one day we might get into that. I don't know. But he did say something that I read in the DOJ vault files. You can go on there and, look at all of the either older material that they would train agents and law enforcement on about abductions and children going missing under mysterious circumstances and all that stuff. And, typically a child is found predatorial or getting lost, right? Just literally leaving home and getting lost in the woods within that first 24 to 72 hours. Like almost all of them do. Now, the outcomes may be different on what happens, but they're found one way or the other. There's usually signs, heat signatures, scents, all those things. Clues, a shoe, something. Not this case. So when he mentioned that, he just followed up with, there's more to it. That's when it became criminal. Not whenever they were like, okay, it's been 2 months and there's just nothing. Now it's criminal. No, it was criminal pretty much immediately.
Looking at it from the criminal aspect at that point.
And it just kind of all melds together. Just searching the questions, the worry. It felt like the whole world just stopped. And then kept going.
Huff says they've never stopped digging. The last major breakthrough in the case was more than 2 years ago. Crews dug up suspects Stacy and Sarah Wander's backyard that sits just a few blocks from Michael's home. Police say they had credible
All right. This doesn't look like much. Or maybe it looks really far, but it isn't. I want everyone, when you're, looking at this case, it's a 4-minute walk from Michael's home to over here. Add maybe another minute, maybe, to get to this trees area over here behind the houses. There's definitely a way out. Let's just say if somebody's perched up on this hill, down here, over here on Air, Nevada and First, which they searched and I'm sure are still searching. I'm kind of curious about all these trees being cut down. Yes, I know they harvest the trees, but not yet. But they're definitely chopping and chopping and chopping some wood over there. I'm very curious. So typically, from what I understand, to get to the Wanderer's house, the first entrance into Hidden Meadow Subdivision, which is this, and I think this is Crestview or Red something, Williams. I think it's Crestview. But this is the first entrance, and then this is the other entrance into Three Rivers Way, which in February of 2022, or excuse me, let me back up. In August of 2021, there's some shit happened. Okay, I'll just say that some things were found out, investigative tactics were used, and JD Huff was grateful for the knowledge and the information. It definitely, I think, helped navigate the investigation. August 2021. Keep that in mind. So, yeah, he would take, or whoever was at the Wanderers would take the first entrance and go around this way, and then boom. Go down, I think that's, I don't want to misspeak. But anyway, take a right, go around the corner, and then boom. Or if you're feeling frisky, you could take this Mallard Street behind it and go around. Here's the interesting part that I don't know if everybody knows. And I'm kind of tired of hiding it, so I just don't give a shit anymore. We're almost 4 years in. It's time to speak. It's time to stop hiding. For these people, these creators to just willy-nilly put out people's names and addresses, like 16 RSOs, which I don't really feel bad for them. People, believe me, I don't. But do you not care about your life? And then you also have people that, in my opinion, probably are not connected in any way, shape, or form to Michael's case, just because the four suspects are once had a job with these people. Their whole fucking lives are on blast. So basically, if you associate in any way, shape, or form to the four suspects, and you might not be the best person on this planet, definitely not a harmer of children, you get your ass put it out there on blast. You know, God, I could probably have done the same if I wanted to. On the other side, lots of times, but I didn't. So I'm not. A lot of people who are just repeating what was said by the horses' mouths gets all of the smoke and heat, but ruining other people's lives that have nothing to do with it, I guess, is okay because it's that side. It's ridiculous. That's just me. Like it's getting old. Somebody's gonna have to step in and play referee here. JD, somebody, because damn, I had to get some lawsuits up in here. I didn't say I was gonna do it. I'm just saying that's what happens. Letting people run amok. All right, let's keep playing.
They had credible information from someone living in the Wanderer's house. The young boy's body was there. Cadaver detection dogs alerted to human remains, but none were.
Well, isn't he handsome? And he looks a little young. I would say a very young scent dog. Very young. And the reason why I say that is because look at the dog. I mean, if you've had dogs before, if you have a German Shepherd or any kind of dog like that, you just know. And is very playful. Needs a lot of attention, needs to be diverted, which is how they train them. I mean, I used to do search and rescue and still do actually, just not with EquiSearch. And then these dogs, you can kind of just know over time how they act when they're young versus old. The older dogs are very professional. Like, you know, they've been doing this a while. This one, goofier than hell, like a puppy.
Detection dogs alerted to human remains, but none were found.
I would say teenager. That's just my guess. But they alerted, these three dogs alerted to human remains, which could be anyone, but we're assuming that it could be Michael. And you know, the possibility, which is circumstantial evidence, by the way, that JD Huff is going to bring up here in a minute. If, let's just say, the dog's alerted to something not human remains, but they went ahead and said it anyway. No one's going to know the difference, first of all. And second of all, if you have someone like Stacy Wanderer confessing that Michael Vaughan's remains were back there, true or not, are you going to pass up the opportunity to dig? You're going to do whatever it takes to get back there and dig, and which I think is what they were trying to do for a hot minute. Okay, for a hot minute. I'll explain that one day. That's why I said read the articles. Yeah, very good point. The articles kind of go in depth more, don't they, from the video? Yeah. Bren L., did the scent dogs lead law enforcement to the Wanderers? If not, then I don't believe Michael was there at all. Well, Stacy has said that the dogs had alerted, and I think even Starkey, the neighbor, said that, but I don't know if they meant during the excavation or right before, or if they meant at the very beginning. You would think at the very beginning they would have known this and they would have been looked into more, right? I mean, but we don't really know. And that's a great question.
You said that you guys believe he was buried in the Wanderer's backyard and then potentially moved elsewhere. Is that still the case?
That's still my belief.
The Wanderas are still suspects, so are Adrian Lucien and Brandon Shurtliff, who lived with the couple at their Red Wing Street house.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughan?
No.
In an interview with KTVB last year, Stacy said he didn't know anything about Michael's abduction or where the little boy is today.
I have no reason to hide anything from anybody. I'm not that type of person.
Stacy has been in and out of custody for a couple of years after pleading guilty to an unrelated gun crime, then violating conditions of his supervised release. Sarah is in prison until at least 2026 on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence unrelated to Michael's disappearance. Huff says he knows where Lucien and Shurtliff are, but wouldn't elaborate further on any of the suspects since it's an active investigation. He says he's confident the right people will one day be held accountable.
It's been said.
I done messed up, Aaron. I hit the wrong button. But let's
How is this case
let me replay that. Let's replay that statement.
And destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence unrelated to Michael's disappearance. Huff says he knows where Lucien and Shurtliff are, but wouldn't elaborate further on any of the suspects since it's an active investigation.
So we know in December of 2022, Brandon and Adrian reached out, or law enforcement got a hold of them. It was stated in an article. I believe he even said it in the update most recently before this. So articles have mentioned it, but yet there was a crusade. If you see these suspects, you call 911. And it's like, they don't have a bounty. They didn't say that they wanted them to, drag them in dead or alive or anything. Jesus, it's not the old West. They just wanted to ask him some questions. That's all he said. They were wanted for questioning. They're not wanted as a fugitive. But everybody went pew pew Yosemite Sam style in Idaho. It happens sometimes. Get him and lock him up. Right? And I have to be a little fishy, sis, and I have to be a little bit of an asshole sometimes, because you coming at me, accusing me of a crime, and then having everybody and their mama after me. I get it. I understand the circumstances. It's a missing child. You do what you got to do. But there's some limits. All right. I do have rights. They have rights. Even if you have all the right in the world to hate they ass, you can't be doing certain things and violating their protected rights. Okay, period. Bryn L. Sent dogs leading LE to the Wanderers the first day of searching. See, that's the thing. I asked Stacy, and he said no. They had dogs out many times throughout, 2021 and 2022, but they didn't see anything weird when they had the dogs out. The neighbors had the same thing happen to them. They had police go into their homes multiple times. So I'm wondering who wasn't cooperating in that neighborhood or in Southwest 8th and Southwest 9th, because there was a few. Okay. It's in an article. Not to mention in August of 2021, there was some people changing their stories and it wasn't making sense. JD Huff told that to the NICMIC coordinator, representative. I think her name is Maria Earhart, something like that. I'll have to look it up again. But she went on News Nation in October and said, hey, JD Huff told me in August, shit wasn't making sense with a few of them, of these people. They weren't named, but you kind of have to make an inference, which is what circumstantial evidence is, making inferences to connect dots. And I wonder who that was so early. Seems to me like they had an idea very early on that some shit was not right in this case. I guarantee it. I do. And I think August of 2021, the first 2 weeks, set the stage, really set the stage. And they were excellent about not showing their hand to anyone. That's just me. Jeep says the police were called and at the Wanderer's house several times. When I say several, I mean 19 times within a year and a half of Michael's disappearance. 19 times, Jeep, they were called, and I have those reports. I also have the reports of maybe potentially a shitty ass private investigator and their shitty ass friends harassing Sarah before she was ever even named publicly. Yeah. I guess it's almost time to go there. If everybody else is getting blasted in Idaho, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to show that these people were being looked into by not law enforcement personnel. And isn't that suspicious in itself, guys? Isn't that suspicious? And I'm not talking about like a private investigator sneaking up and taking pictures. No, I'm talking some real dirty YouTube creator like fuck shit that they do to victims and their families. All right? Like a Bull Hormeti style. So this is what's concerning me right now, because I don't want whoever or how many people are involved. Some of the evidence might get thrown out if these people keep fucking around. It's really, really bothering me, and it should bother you.
He says he's confident the right people will one day be held accountable.
It's been said in the past that, no body, no crime. I would just tell you that I don't believe that holds water. And the only reason I say
No body, no crime. Now, I was racking my brain trying to remember, did one of the suspects say this? Did they say it to a creator? I don't remember hearing it from Stacy or Brandon, on the YouTubes or to myself. But allegedly, Crime Lines and Lies, Brooks, did. I think that was where that came from. But I honestly can't remember. So if anybody remembers that, let me know, because I can't find it. First of all, I know that Brooks said it today, that's what Stacy said. No body, no crime. It's very interesting because if he's saying that, then he's directly making that inference. But I don't think so. I could be wrong. But that's not really what I care about. He follows up with, after saying, I don't believe that holds water. Think about that. No body, no crime. Well, I would just tell you that I don't believe that holds water. Water? You chose those words when you said back in July of 2022 that if you could dam the Snake River, you would. A large body of water? I think that was intentional. JD Huff is slick. Tell you what, if it yields, it yields. And then listen to what he says after that.
that holds water. And the only reason I say that is
The only reason I say that is, meaning, let me make sure you understand me.
is because with the volumes of circumstantial evidence that you can obtain.
Because of the volumes of circumstantial evidence that you can obtain. Let's take a break and go down Nerdy Birdie Lane. And let's go to the basics for a minute, because we always think that we know more than we do and what things mean. So what is circumstantial evidence? To Idaho. Now, I go to the Supreme Court because that's going to be where your latest and greatest breakdown of what it means is, because they're the ones that decide on what it means. They're the ones that direct the lower courts on what it means. So that's why we're going there. circumstantial evidence with definition. See if it'll read it for me.
Evidence may be either direct or circumstantial. Direct evidence is evidence that directly proves a fact. Circumstantial evidence is evidence that indirectly proves the fact by proving one or more facts from which the fact at issue may be inferred. The law makes no distinction between direct and circumstantial evidence as to the degree of proof required. Each is accepted as a reasonable method of proof, and each is respected for such convincing force as it may carry. Comments. Two alternatives are offered, one including a brief definition of the term circumstantial and one without. The committee felt that the essential point to the instruction is that there is no difference in degree of proof required between direct and circumstantial evidence.
I can even give a better example than this lovely woman who is AI generating the narrative. Let's say that there is evidence somewhere else. I don't know, maybe a decomp stained shirt, article of clothing, dirt from another yard or backyard, or toy, something, along those lines, a sippy cup, something like that, that has evidence of, the child maybe not alive anymore. And then they connect that evidence that they found to a backyard. Okay. But there's no body. Okay. You don't have the body to confirm that the child is deceased. However, you can make the deduction, the conclusion, the inference that he was once here and then he was placed here and he is deceased. That is circumstantial. The direct evidence would be the shirt, the piece of the clothing, the toy, the sippy cup, whatever it may be. Hair, blood, DNA, whatever. So it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, I've heard the FBI say that circumstantial evidence is actually even more crucial than direct sometimes. For instance, direct evidence would be a confession, right? But it really doesn't mean shit if you don't have anything to back it up other than I did it with nothing else. Or let's say you have direct evidence of metadata that shows you were here, here, and here. But you also have eyewitnesses saying, no. He was here, here, and here. You must have got the wrong phone, blah, blah, blah. So evidence is kind of fishy. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I'm learning that what you think you know about evidence is usually never the case unless you're in law enforcement and you know better, or you're a lawyer or in the judicial system. So it's interesting. But if there's enough circumstantial evidence to follow the dots, to connect the dots, that's good. But does that mean that the theory, which is what it would be to get from point A to Z, of all of these circumstantial pieces of evidence that they're having to infer, is it accurate? Is there a problem? Are there issues? I'm sure. Or there would be arrests by now, right? All right.
Need that one piece, that one little piece to tell us where Michael is.
Do you have hope that they'll bring Michael home?
Yes. One way or another.
Huff believes there are people out there that know what happened to Michael or have information about his disappearance. The chief urges them to call or text this number with any tips, 208-343-COPS. You can also send an email to findmichael@fruitland.org. Jude.
Yeah, Abby, this tragedy has...
Well, he actually, Abby, he said, one day
Rip the whole town of Fruitland. Whenever you drive through, you see all those signs
Yes,
and
yes.
people looking for answers and closure.
Yeah.
Everybody has been ripped apart in that town, in that county, in the state, in the world. One day, the right people will be held accountable. Now, think about that one. Oh, Eve, you're looking too far into that. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. Language is an interesting thing. And law enforcement typically, they do not mince words. They're kind of prepped and trained for this, not to mince words and to be careful what they say on these cases specifically. He thinks that one day the right people will be held accountable. That's the problem. They don't know if they do. Maybe a few. I don't know. But I don't think they know exactly who. That's the problem. Who are you going to charge? If there's more than two, they think it's six, but they only have two that they have their eyes on for sure. They just need the other conspirators, co-conspirators. That's difficult. That's difficult to piece together, especially when no one's talking, right? That's the problem with circumstantial evidence, is the holes that it does leave for things that you're only theorizing on. Even if you infer, we don't know for a fact. And that's where the reasonable doubt creeps in, right? Everybody, I'm sure, who is listening or watching has been falsely accused of something they didn't do. But it looked bad, right? Maybe somebody said that they saw you and it wasn't you. That's happened to me because I have a familiar face. I was accused of being over here when I wasn't. I was over here. And then I was being a bad girl. No, that wasn't me, right? So you know what I mean. I think everybody's been accused falsely, and it really sucks. It really sucks when you know better, but you can't do anything about it. You can't prove it. So, is that the case here? Is that the case? Are the four suspects just really good at lying? Really good at hiding their tracks? Did they plan this abduction? How long did they plan it for? What was the motive? Even though you don't have to have a motive in Idaho, it helps your cause if you're going to charge somebody. Got to piece the circumstantial evidence together if that's what you got to do. What is this? What is this? What is this case? What do they need to charge it? As the prosecutor, Mike Duke, said, it's a complex case, he says. True that. Is there a conspiracy? Is there multiple conspirators? Let's look at the article real fast. And then we're going to jump into the doo-doo that's been going on. The outrage, the fake outrage, the name calling, the finger pointing. Got to save that juice for the last bit before bedtime, okay? So I want to get that article pulled up because it says something very specific that you don't see on the video. One moment. Okay, one thing I wanted to mention. You're going to probably hear Brandy say on one of these videos that Stacy was the tip. Of course, we know that. Stacy was the tip because he was the false or the confessor. False or not, doesn't matter. He confessed that Michael was in the backyard. If you knew the interrogation, if you saw the interrogation or heard it, then that means that you would have known that already. Long ago. So anyway, here is the reality, the truth, the verified, honest to God truth about that. It was a tip received, as J.D. Huff said, by state police, the interrogators, along with Chris Medina, who is from the Cold Case Foundation, which is not Fruitland PD. The tip came in from the other agency that was, I guess, interrogating Stacy at the prison. That's why they said it that way. Think about this. If we would have never known, if Stacy would have never come out swinging with all that information, what would you have perceived the tip as if you didn't have any way of getting that probable cause affidavit? Wink, wink, y'all. Hang tight. Hang on to your ass here in about 2 or 3 days. Woo-wee. What would you do if you didn't have the leaked probable cause affidavit from Sarah and Stacy coming out saying, "Oh yeah, I told the cops that he was back there," knowing that he wasn't? You would know nothing. You would think that that tip that came in was from a concerned person living at the house. You would have thought maybe it was Brandon or Adrian, because they're not the, main owners of the house or renters, because Sarah's mom owns that house. So no one would have been none the wiser. You would have known nothing. But now we do. And I'm sure they were like, damn it. But it always comes out in these cases. You can't hide everything. Your investigative tactics, eventually they get leaked, all right, by something, some way or another. It's not a perfect science there. But you would have never known. Because it made it seem like, again, somebody staying there at the Wanderers made the tip because they said, "Oh, I saw it," or "I heard something." No, it was actually Stacy. So were they trying to make something seem a certain way to whoever is watching? Not on those 4 billboards? I think so. J.D. Huff said it himself. We do believe there's others that have knowledge. How many people can know about this crime against this sweet, innocent child and it not come rearing back against them? Come on now. You can't hold a secret like that forever. It just won't happen. But the more people know, the more chance of risk of being found out. So I'm just not following here. The statistics don't look good, but it's still 4 years. So something isn't right. It's making me feel like it's closer than we think to Michael. So let me find what else. Huff said the department has not stopped digging. Wow. The department has not stopped digging. Well, you're thinking digging into people, things, the case, for answers, backyards, front yards, crevices, woods, who knows? It makes you kind of pause, though, if you're really reading it. What do you mean by that? It could be nothing. He could just be saying, digging for clues, dummy. But who knows? The last breakthrough in the case was more than 2 years ago, blah, 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 blah. Police said they had credible information from someone living in the Wanderers house. That word salad, now that we know what we know, think about that. Sleep on that. They were trying to spin it a certain way. This is the interesting part that he said he still believes that. I have a feeling Stacy's confession was not a surprise in the way that, oh, he is back there. I think that they had an idea that he may have been placed back there early on, maybe perhaps, or maybe midway. I just do. I can't prove that. That is 100% speculation. Maybe in May of 2022 when the arrest happened and people were showing up at their house when they were in jail, some fuck shit like that. Maybe some planted evidence potentially. Hey, neighbors have been setting up neighbors for years, decades, millennia, for crimes they didn't do. Still happening to this day, I'm sure. So, everybody's still suspects that were named, and there could be others. All right. Now on to the Drama for Your Mama YouTube Creator Edition. Boy. I'm having a battle on which one I should do first. Should I do the one that I just dread hearing more and just get it out of the way, or just not? Because I'm tired and it's late. Okay, we'll just go to PNW. And I kind of almost feel bad for her. Not that she needs to, because heifer, you put my face blown up like that. That's some dirty shit. Too bad you don't put your face on your live. Maybe we could make it even. Rude. But this is about Michael Vaughan, so I'll stop being catty. But the shade will continue to be thrown. So the truth is about to get ugly, and it's going to hurt Brandon. Okay. So I'm thinking, Stacy's got put in the slammy again for his probation violations that Kelly Miller admitted to helping set that whole thing up for him. He's in the jail, so we can't talk about Stacy, or we can't get more information from him. Let's move on to Brandon. Right?
Shurtliff, please come.
So, again, this is Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. The title is The Truth is About to Get Ugly and It's Going to Hurt Brandon. Hashtag Michael Vaughan. Hashtag Brandon Shurtliff. You beer drinking, hot tub sitting, some bitch. I'm going to put this in the chat and pin it while we are here watching this. Because it's the right thing to do, even if you don't like the people that you're shouting out to. And apparently it's not a good thing to do. But oh well. All right. Let's start with this.
Guess who's in trouble again? It's not going to surprise you. It can't be Stacy, Wandra, because Stacy went to jail. Right? He went back to jail December 23rd, just a few days after the live that I did with Brandy and him. It was violations that put him in jail. It was not because of anything. I don't know, maybe, but I only know that he was arrested a few days after that live, and that it was for violations against his parole violations or probation violations. But Brandon's in trouble. That's right. Brandon's in trouble. Brandon's got a warrant. Are you serious right now? Come on. Can't any of these guys get it together? Oh,
No, they can't. That's why they're in this predicament. So they had an opportunity to grab Brandon Shurtliff. I think he's got a couple warrants in different counties. And they could have grabbed the sus, the perp, the alleged perp, 3 different times, and they didn't. Now, a lot of people are going to say, especially LaWanda, they can't just do that. They can't just extradite them back. Yeah, they can. Honey, it's Idaho. You should know better. They can do whatever the fuck they want over there, apparently. Like blast your ass on TV for just being a suspect. Very rare does that happen without charges coming, in the near future. So they could put a county hold on you. Oh, Miss Rubeck just said it. Put a county hold. Yeah, put a county hold on his ass, and they didn't. They could have done a lot of things. Listen, they could have pulled him over, followed him, pulled him over for nothing, and say it was something, and take his ass to pay it. They've already spoken to these fools. If you think this is going to be the gotcha moment, actually, it's kind of showing that maybe they're not as bombshell crucial as you think it is. Maybe they're really just not that important at this moment. They're not a focus of the investigation at this time, right? Right? Have we heard that? Yeah, we have. It means you were a focus at one point and you're not anymore for a minute, and maybe you could be again in the future, depending on how the evidence unfolds. Yeah, that.
I fast forwarded this way too much. Hold on. There's Brandon. We got controlled substance possession, drug paraphernalia, failure to appear, probation violation. You know what? All of this goes back to May 2024 when Brandon went to court to get his warrant dropped. Remember, because he goes from North or South Dakota back to Idaho, but he didn't want to come back to Idaho until he could get that warrant dropped. And so he set up arrangements to get that and those charges, dropped off, and makes arrangements to take care of his charges from 2022. Then over the summer, after getting that warrant dropped, thanks to his mommy, Tina, maybe his grandma, who knows, he gets pulled over 2 times. So the reason that he is in trouble, this warrant is going to put him in jail. He had agreed to do some work detail, only 15 days. Only 15 days. That's all he had to do. In lieu of spending 30 days in jail. And that was all supposed to be completed by November 1st of 2024. And then on November 22nd, 2024, he's to be held without bond. That's what the bench warrant says that was issued on 11/22/2024. Defendant to serve 30 days in custody as previously imposed. So
he was at the county jail on work detail. Work detail. A lot of people literally walk off of work detail and end up missing as an inmate. Idaho has a bad rap for that. I don't know what they're doing, but they need to check that because it happens a lot. This sounds like normal people stuff, doesn't it? I mean, I don't have these issues. I have a driver's license still. I can drive. Some people in Idaho can't. Or they get pulled over and go to jail because their shit's suspended for life. Okay. But that happens everywhere. But what I'm trying to get at is this seems kind of normal for people like him. This isn't like just a alleged suspect of a missing child's case kind of thing. This is like normal. A lot of people wouldn't probably admit that in this live, but it is. All right, this is normal.
he's in trouble again. It hasn't even been
Julia, comment of the night. Yep, I guess they forgot to talk to him. They have a lot on their plate. That's just the one thing they forgot to get around to. I needed that. Thank you, Julia. Bren says the 4 suspects need to take polygraphs like Seth did in the Sebastian case. Well, allegedly they did, and we don't know who is lying or telling the truth about if they pass or not, but unfortunately it doesn't matter. It's inadmissible in court, so, yeah. I'd like to know what the results were for everybody's polygraph test. Everybody's in Michael's case.
8 months. It says right there, 11/22/2024, down at the bottom, hold without bond. He's going to have to serve 30 days. Yeah, the tickets that he gets over the summertime, no insurance, drug paraphernalia, which is against his probation that he had set up after that court hearing that he went for that stuff. Or wait, back in May. So, I mean, he's back in Idaho and he's already screwing everything up. Another
What's he screwing up? I mean, he's screwing up his own thing, but what does that have to do with Michael's case? And why didn't they grab him? Okay.
I'm only sharing what I was able to verify, but damn. That's all I got to say about that. This is some information sent to me. Let me pause right there because I'm going to have to read this from my phone.
Oh, wait, yes. The Levis CJ Lana crew and company. This was back in probably 2023. There was a fake level-headed Facebook page called Matt Hugh. Very clever, sir. And then Hope Remains. And then Lana was just like, fuck it, I'll be me. Which I do have respect for that. Mad respect for that. Just be you. But whatever. And they were basically talking shit on a thread with Brandon, allegedly, who knows. And then they messaged, and it was kind of a fight because the shit that they were saying was off the chain. They were trying to basically poke at him to react and make him look like a fool so that they could show the YouTube creators and to Brandy and to law enforcement, look what we're doing. We're going to get him to confess. We're going to rile him up so good, and he's just going to finally say, enough. I know everything. Because, oh, wait. They haven't confessed. And one did, allegedly falsely. And we're still here. That's very unfortunate. By the way, that's fucked up. But that's the way it is. And this is not how you help law enforcement, in my opinion. Julia says, did you hear the story of Lucine giving MJ to the Pope, guys? Yeah, we're going to get into that. That's a bunch of malarkey. That's CJ and Level being assholes. I don't know who, and look, these guys aren't the best, greatest, most fantastic guys, but I spoke to that family. I know everything about that situation. I know it all. Matter of fact. So it's nothing like it's been portrayed. We'll get into that. We'll do that right now. Or as soon as that gets pulled up.
What I wanted to throw up, y'all have to wait on that one. Hold on. Don't get excited, Sammy. Hold on one second. Oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha. Let me pause it right here. These messages are from Bunny Fisherman. This is grandma, Brandon's grandma, from back in 2020.
That's Miss Locks, yes. Bunny Fisherman. The way that she types, I'm not going to be rude, but I have to be honest. It's giving Doomsday Prepper. God is coming, Sarah Wandra-ish, Doomsday. It's given the what is it? The 7 trumpets blasting off, or is it 9? Whatever. Doomsday. Revelation style. And it's hard to understand what she's saying, but you also have to understand that she's responding to some prick assholes trying to make her convinced of Brandon's guilt, I wouldn't be too happy either. I'd be a little shaken up too.
23. Let me look at comments. He goes back to Idaho to clear up a warrant, gets a slap on the wrist, and now has another warrant for his arrest. Yep. I mean, they're just repeated offenders, right? Is he still on probation? Yeah, he's been on probation since he came back, cleared his warrant. Then he had to go set up probation after that court hearing. And then this summer gets pulled over with paraphernalia, which I don't know why he didn't get in trouble having the paraphernalia, because that's a probation violation right there. He should be spending time for probation violations, if you ask me. Yeah, keep him behind bars. like Ray Ray says. I love this. Buckeye Mama, you're here. Thank you for being here. Brandon, you better talk. Stacy does. We all know how Stacy talks to try to get out of trouble or try to get out of jail. And since he's back in jail, we're pretty sure he's already talking, right? We know a few people that are talking, but I won't mention his name now. Won't mention his name now. But people are definitely talking. Brandon even tells people that some people are talking. Opal's here. Good to see you. All right. Since I have so much information, you guys, I'm going to walk away from chat for a second. Thank you guys for being here. Into the Darkest Places. Thank you for being here. Brunhilde, thank you for being here. I love seeing new faces and new things. So these are messages from Brandon's grandma. She's responding to this up here. I can't even read what it says. Hold on, let me get over here to my... So Idaho police believe man connected missing child in North Dakota. So this was in 2023 when they knew he was in North Dakota,
wink, wink.
and grandma decides to basically write in this. Okay, so she says,
That was for just
why are
one
you
person in chat. Sorry.
persecuting that young man? What is your motive? Sounds to me like you're a media party or a cold case. Let me see what we call it. An accuser of the Brethren? That's what I would call you. You have no facts. He's already talked with the authorities. He knows nothing about it. If he did even know the people next door, so why are you going on with this charade? You're like being an accuser of a brother. You will be accountable for every idle word you speak. That goes for printing it and putting it on the news. And it is kind of confusing the way she goes on because she doesn't add any periods or anything else. So let me move forward here. But she's protecting him, like they do. They only want Brandon to get a slap on the hand, even though he's a suspect in a missing child's abduction.
Let's get one thing clear. The YouTubes and creators in the trauma drama, they always go after people who go after missing victims, family members, right? Which rightfully so, within reason. If they're being an ass, if they're trying to harm, them, right? Yeah, I get it. Go after them all day. But could we also include innocent until proven guilty suspects too? I'm not saying treat them with lavish and gold and be sweet little besties with them. And that's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm doing, bitches over there. You also have to play your cards at least half decent and moral. You can't just go and expect that they are free reign to go ham on. It's just not, there are ramifications for that. And there could be in the case of the victim and their families. Now, if you're being instructed to do so, of course, I could understand your motives. But that does not give anyone, even the mother of a missing child, the right to dictate how people are crucified, literally having people get them fired, whatever, lose their houses, lose their job, lose this, go to prison for probation violations, even though it's his own fault. Like, you don't get to fucking dictate every goddamn movement. This has happened in the past with people who were innocent, where they were getting threatened, tires slashed. I have a feeling one of these days, someone's going to get actually physically hurt. Like, this keeps happening. It's worrisome. My little intuition's kind of tugging at me that this is going to be bad. They're off topic here, but I just want everybody to know that Payette County has had to increase some budgets for the courthouse for upcoming trials and the security. They're putting glass, what is it called? Bulletproof glass up to separate the proceedings from where the defense and uh, the lawyer sit and the judge, and then everybody else behind them because of fights that have happened in Payette County, I guess. But the security is being ramped up, and they're hiring more police officers or whatever to stand the ground while these upcoming cases that we don't know about are going to happen. That's alarming. Do y'all have people that just throw hands at the court every day? Do y'all have a Yosemite Sam pew pew party? Like, I really don't know. If anybody knows locally if that shit happens often, where they have to upgrade their security like it's a maximum security prison, that's alarming. And I get it though, because of the mindset of, hey, go all the way into the pocket, go 110% into the pocket. Even though law enforcement is the one that's supposed to be doing all of the hard work like that. I just don't understand this. Ruby says, well, unfortunately, they hid for months, were drinking and smoking pot the next day. Oh, okay, we're talking about, right, the parents. Yeah. Just because others may be involved doesn't mean they are innocent. You said it, sister. I mean, I've already been down that road. Yeah. But if you want to say it, I'm with you. Miss Rubeck, they were not cleared, just deemed not a focus at the time. And I don't want to get petty. I don't want to go there because we've already been there. I know that these bitches want to bait me. Fuck it. I'm an adult. I do what I want. Yeah. This is what Chat GPT said. Now, I know that it is flawed. It can be flawed, but it's pretty damn accurate for the most part. And it even gives you citate, like, the citing and the references. This is what it said about being cleared. Because everybody still says the parents have been cleared, and it really doesn't fucking matter that much, honest to God. We don't know who the hell is cleared or not in the minds of the prosecutor, okay? And law enforcement. But just because I hate, and a lot of people hate misinformation, like me, I can't let it go that it is not, it is a fallacy. It's not right when people say this person was cleared and that person wasn't. All right. So give me just a second to pull it up. I'm not trying to be petty though, but this is your proof. If you ever, because AI is the new way. This is the proof. One moment. Have the parents of missing Michael Vaughan from Fruitland, Idaho been cleared as suspects? Have the parents of missing Michael Vaughan from Fruitland, sorry, there's a reverb. Idaho been cleared as suspects? Have the parents
as of January 2025, Michael Vaughan's parents, Tyler Vaughan and Brandon Shurtliff, have not been cleared as suspects in his disappearance.
I think it's reverbing. I'm so sorry, y'all. 1 second. I'm sorry. I think it's reverbing. Oh, it is. It's my YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm a dum-dum. I have YouTube open on my phone. Let me try it one more again.
As of January 2025, Michael Vaughan's parents, Tyler Vaughan and Brandon Shurtliff, have not been cleared as suspects.
Have not been cleared as suspects. Have not. Okay. I'm sorry. I wish they were. Shit, it would make everything easier for everyone. But it's just not true. Lie, not love. Yeah, I got it. And we don't really know who's all involved. But if we're going to sit here and try to lie to ourselves that it's not possible at all whatsoever, then you might be disappointed one day.
And you know, do you? No. But you have done it. Will make it hard for him to have a job. I mean, that comes all over the internet and you don't know nothing about that boy. I know that boy and I know you. You are an accuser of the brother shame on you. You need to repent because you will be accountable for every idle word you speak. You need to fear. You need, I think she meant to say the fear of God on, and you'll pray for you. I am so sad that you are out there and that you see a talent that probably God gave you, or you're just working under the wickedness of the enemy and the Antichrist.
Well, maybe you are. Maybe you are. Maybe you're doing antichrist like behavior in her eyes by blasting people that is associated with this person and that person that is associated with the suspects because they had a job once. Maybe you are doing some fake shit. That's what she's trying to tell you.
And then it goes on to say, yep, it's a long one, you guys. I'm sorry. The Antichrist spirit, but I think that you are in need to know that you need to have a relationship with the Lord. You need to read the Bible and find out what happens to people. I just got to stop right there. And I just got to say, what is it with these people in this case and them using God as an excuse and throwing God? I mean, like Sarah, I mean, Stacy does it. We know Sarah goes crazy talking about.
Honey, a lot of religious people do, and some don't. A lot of religious people do this in their everyday lives. That's kind of the problem here. Um, but I honestly think that this poor lady, I'm not gonna say I don't know for a fact, but maybe, the social cues aren't always on par. Okay? If you catch my drift, because I'm not trying to say she has anything. She's probably a perfectly normal human being, but maybe there's some social cues that are viewed socially as different, you know? And I'm not going to say the A word, but you know what I mean. If you go and just look at look at her Facebook, which I'm not saying to do, but as a sleuth, you can kind of tell and pick up on things that they aren't like everybody else, which is not a bad thing. She's just different. All right? But if she is just guilty for being that boy's aunt or, I mean, grandmother, whatever, damn. Nobody's safe out here. Nobody is safe. If you are Facebook friends with someone in Idaho, watch your shit, watch your social medias, because you might just end up being a suspect.
God and everything on her TikTok for like months afterwards. And then you got Stacy talking about how they were religious people and they only wanted to help. And now you have Brandon's grandma, throwing out all of this. It's just crazy. Um, sorry. What happens to people that are talebearers and you don't even know what you're talking about? So to post something like that and its lies is to me beyond the wildest dreams of anybody that is walking with the Lord. You are not test the spirit and see you're going to either see if it's a man of God or evil or the evil being, and you are being used by an evil being and then in cohorts or something like that. I don't know what she's trying to say here. She gets a lot of stuff messed up. She doesn't use pronunciation, so it's kind of really hard. I'm trying my best. And see, you're going to either see if it's a man or God or evil being, and you are being used by an evil being, or else you're in cohorts with him knowingly or unknowingly, with it's a shame on you. I'd say
I can't do this anymore. I can't do this part. Ma'am, I saw your comments on his page and am sharing this information. He has been publicly named person of interest in the abduction and possible murder of a 5-year-old innocent child. What does your Bible say about that?
shame on you.
Well, if we're going to be honest, what does the Bible say about that? It actually says, if you ask for forgiveness in the eyes of the Lord, you are forgiven. Even the worst of the worst of the low of the low. I mean, I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying that's what it said. So actually, you're supposed to show kindness no matter what. That doesn't mean that you have to accept what happened. I'm just saying that's what the Bible says. That's what the Bible said Jesus said. So I'm just saying.
And then this person, ma'am, I saw your comments on this page and I am sharing this information. He has been publicly named person of interest in the abduction and possible murder of a 5-year-old innocent child. What does your Bible say about that? What does the Bible say about that? I mean, he isn't a nice guy. He just isn't. Pay attention here, mama, grandma. So here you have Brandon Shurtliff right there at the top. It even got says like little GPS Kuna. It says Kuna, so we know this is Brandon. Brando does what he.
Can't you like manually put that in there though? Any TikTokers? I used to be big on TikTok and um Insta, but YouTube has sucked me in so badly that I'm back to my Facebook days because fuck YouTube, by the way. It'll ruin your life. It'll revert you back to yesteryear quick. um yeah, so if anybody knows about that, I don't. Can you change the location manually? I thought you could.
Wants. So don't F with him. First warning. Brando does what he wants. See, this right here just shows you he don't section. What I want to know.
I mean, like, these people bragged about hacking others before, so how could anybody trust if it's actually Brandon? What if it's his friend that has his phone now that he forgot to log out of his device, the Apple, whatever? You don't know who you're talking to. Only the police would, right?
Know is why would he want to get rid of somebody just talking about a missing child's case? I mean, you can get mad if somebody's throwing out your name, but are you going to threaten them like that? Then I'll have to make you go away? Then the true crime says, is that a threat? Bring it. You don't scare me. You're a pathetic piece of shit. And then Blue Shirt laughs. I was wondering if Blue Shirt was actually a different account. And then we've got threat number 2. Threat number 2. Let's see what's over here. What do you guys got to say about this? Brandon's not allowed around his own daughter. Slim Hauser says, thank you, Slim, for being here. I wouldn't want him around my daughter. Amanda, thank you for being here. Yeah, Brandon, where's Michael's body? Fine, make me go away, Amanda says. Hair curlers and crime.
Is that a threat? Slim Hauser, I did not know that, or he has a daughter. Can't make us all go away. Oh, goodness, I've seen a lot of threats. God, I've seen them have been called actual predos, PDF files, murderers, that they need to be hung. They need to be executed on the street. Like, I've seen all the egregious shit. So sit the fuck down.
I did not know that, or he has a daughter. Yes, he has a daughter. His daughter, no, it was his nephew that was around the same age as Michael when Michael was abducted, but he had a 10-year-old daughter at the time, so she's around 13 now. Yike, that's one hell of a red flag. It sure is. And no, we are not going away. We are just beginning to dig. This is just what I'm sharing tonight is just a little bit of information that I have. I just didn't want to have a giant friggin' live and have you guys here for 3 or 4 hours. I got a lot of stuff. So let's move on to threat number 2. I hope you're listening, Tina. I hope you're listening, Grandma. And I'm don't mean no disrespect towards his mom or his grandma. I'm just trying to paint a picture for you guys to let you know that Brandon really is not who you guys think that he is. You guys are protecting him. You are coddling him. And you could even know information that you should be giving to law enforcement. So, B-Dog is his name back in the day. And this came off of Facebook. So why is Adrian saying he was set up if he was with you the whole day? He never once mentioned that to me before, B-Dog says. If anyone was set up, it was me. This so-called missing child has the same birthday as me.
This was back in 2023. You have to understand that. All of these messages. And ironically, even though they're deleted on Twitter, I believe, for the most part, I got them all, honey. You know I do. When this originally went down with the suspects. And oh boy. Let me see what I got here. This will kind of make sense as to why the same people that were, they kind of knew. It's almost like they knew of these suspects before they were named. Oh, that is suspicious. Remember when JD Huff said, we will not stop looking in August when the, August 2022, when the polys were taken and those amazing trucks for Michael were released, to put his picture on the 18-wheelers. Which is awesome, by the way. I think it's great. But remember when JD Huff said, I just want you to know, Randy and Tyler, that we will, and Bob, we will not stop. We will never stop. And everyone who is involved, they will be brought to justice. And paraphrasing. He said it again in this interview, this recent interview, in a different way. He said that those who perpetrated the crime, think about that, perpetrated the crime, meaning the reason for where we're at now. Right? Perpetrated in the act of, in lieu of, the cause, the reason. He believes that they're going to be they're going to meet their justice maker, if you will, okay? So I think that when JD Huff says things like that, he really is talking to the person that he's actually speaking to, not we're going to get the people, we're going to get the bad guys. I think he's talking directly at, that person, which happened to be the parents that day. It was just an odd way of interaction between them two.
Me. Did you know that? Mr. Hopefully effing know everything? God rocking holier than thou person? Oops, Grandma. He's saying holier than thou and mentioning God's name in vain. Oops. F off, he says. And then, so I take it you don't want help. Wait, I need to look up what that says. Because I'm hoping.
Why are we shocked? I'd say fuck off too. I'd probably say a lot worse. If I'm honest.
But I will. Good night, dear. Keep talking with me. Faggot. I will not say that word on my channel.
She spelled it out. You could just say bleep. We can read it for ourselves. She spelled it out.
Faggot. And I will have your head on my table for dinner or show your face in reach of my swing and we can have a little tea party date. You down? Wow. He's angry.
Oh
He's
my God,
really
the
in green.
reaching. Well, yeah.
Because I
Wouldn't you be?
this is like an evil threat. This is the moment now
An evil threat?
dead. He wants to hurt somebody.
The guy that's behind this shit beats on women. I mean, like in his past. So fuck all that. I'm sorry. Nope.
It's crazy. Okay. And let's not forget that Brandon is connected to 16 registered sex offenders. Are you serious right now? 16. Wow.
Sorry, not sorry, Gary Butts. I've actually sleuthed all 16 of these. And all of them. How are they connected? Because of the taxi company? I'm so confused. How are they connected? Because I watched the live where it was explained and it didn't explain it. We need a red flag night again. That was fun. Yeah.
Wow. 16. Let me just delete a few things
So,
here.
Randy needs to check Samantha because I remember Daisy, Cal lady. I don't know if that's a derogatory nickname for her. I'm not trying to be, but like that's just how I know her from people. So correct me if I'm out of line, but remember she got all the heat because of hashtags, and Summer's case being one thing, and she didn't want Michael's associated with that, with SA related things. Samantha needs to do the same. Samantha needs to do the same because you, Miss Ma'am, said Cat Lady can do that. But you're sitting here saying that because Stacy is related to 16 RSOs, it must be that kind of a crime. Where's the outrage on that? Let's fix that.
From my studio. I'm going to take a moment now since we've gone through some stuff. Let me do comments first. Hold on. Let's see. Bingo. I just emailed Brandon.
See, way to go. You're getting other crazy people to email Brandon. Fucking fantastic. What if he gets so overwhelmed, innocent or not, that you never hear from him again and you get no justice for Michael if he's involved? Jesus Christ.
Who are you? That's what I would like to know. I'll put up my email address. I would love to hear from you.
This is called character assassination. And I know Miss Brandy has a lot going on. I believe she's getting a liver transplant. No matter why or how that came to be, doesn't matter. She's going through a lot. She's got an oldest daughter, I'm sure, who is and no, all of her kids are probably terrified. It's not an easy time, and I don't like having to be blunt or whatever because it's looked down upon in the community. But this is one of those moments where you can just can it. You're going to have to sit and deal with it and rotate because this has been a pattern from the beginning of character assassination. And if it wasn't these people, the 4 suspects, guess who was front of the line? Babysitter was. Babysitter was going to get all of the blame, girl. She was going to probably get set up. It's a rocky situation. You know what I mean. Over there. So if it wasn't them, it was going to be the babysitter to this day. I can tell you that. Because they tried to connect babysitter and these people. The family did. So this has been from the beginning. All right. This is a habit. And so when people think, Eve, just let it go. It's these people. You know, the 4 suspects. They did it. Get over it. Cadaver dogs. Blah, blah, blah. Stacy said this and he said this the other day. Well, Brandy did that too. Brandy, Tyler, everybody has fucked up their timelines. There's a whole goddamn spreadsheet the size of Canada of timeline discrepancies, issues, you name it. All right, let's just be real here, over there. And you probably haven't really actually sleuthed it because you were blinded by blind faith. Law enforcement isn't telling you to do these things for a reason. There is a reason why there are people in front of or around the family telling you to do this. And I'm going to tell you something. You're fucking around with dangerous ground, or those who think they are. You really are. I feel kind of bad for this one, Samantha, because she doesn't understand. I don't really think she understands what she's getting herself into. But hey, she's a grown ass woman. And here in a minute, you're going to see she puts this horrible situation out where somebody from Idaho, uh, under a fake account, and Sleuthy, if you're here, you're going to probably scream. Do you ever remember sleuthing rapid fire on Facebook? I think I know for a fact I did early days. That profile kept coming up around certain people, and she's about to put that one on blast. Ironically, the same people that support, everybody in the family and what she's doing for them knows them so well. So well. And I don't know if they know what they're doing. But I'm kind of here for it. Keep going. Keep blasting people you think are complicit because it's actually doing the opposite here. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? You're kind of pointing out my point even more so every time this happens. Yeah. In my opinion, it's silly to point out the discrepancies in timelines and stories. Guilt unless you apply it everywhere. Right. I learned that lesson. That whole Excel spreadsheet full of discrepancies. It doesn't really matter because if you know the truth, honest to God, let the person who thinks they know or is trying to deceive you go with it. Say nothing, say less, let them go. You have a better chance of them slipping saying nothing to them, letting them think that they are good. You know what I mean?
Let me see. Me too, share. So if I were you, I'd probably choose to come up before that information gets shared.
You know, this is odd. I know that, you're free to do whatever you want, no matter who you are and what circumstance you're going through in life. But I would think law enforcement would want you to zip it. Don't talk to suspects because, you could definitely, you know, fuck some shit up. I mean, I've always just known that you don't mingle. You just don't mingle. It's dangerous. They might be put in danger from the mama wrath. So is this normal? Am I looking into this too much with that? Let's talk. It actually makes me suspicious about it.
Share just an FYI. That's just me anyway. That's what I would want to do because I've connected you to some people that not so good. Let me see. I'm going to pin this right to the top. There it is. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Become a member if you'd like. Let me see. Bitter Tea says, do you know of any other men or women went missing around the same time right before Monkey went missing? I'm actually looking into that and I have a bunch of information written down. But since, people do go missing all the time and everything, it's It's just kind of hard to tell how, why. I know there was another little boy in Idaho abducted during.
Oh no, did you not hear me? Great. I was saying, I was repeating verbatim a Twitter space, Luthi, that you had done. I think the last hoorah or the one before, maybe. You told her you should be able to gather your thoughts if being asked a question, and that be it. And that be it. Um, that's kind of what I meant. Like it should be corrected maybe once, maybe twice, and then let them evolve, let them do whatever they want. And I think that's kind of what you did actually. You were like, and I'm out.
Not abducted, sorry to say that, sorry. Missing. I know they've looked into his parents. It's like a Dior or something like that there in Idaho. That was like I can't even say the year because I'm not sure on it, but it was several years ago. And that's really
Vaughan's mama.
Find Michael at fruitland.org. No tip is too small. Days later to go to this car show is strange and unusual to me. Then they drive to Sun Valley, which is 83 miles and 1 hour and 40 minutes away. And I'll show you guys here on maps that I did. This is Boise to Twin Falls, 1 hour, 55 minutes, 128 miles to go get drugs on the 21st and 22nd. 2 days before.
Oh no. They went and got drugs. Like everybody else in that fucking county.
Adrian could have possibly been, and like it was the 24th or after the 24th, after that court hearing, did he come? So like a few days later, like so Brandon drives all the way down to Twin Falls. Did he use this car show as kind of like a little cover up in case there was any questions or anything? That's kind of where my mind's going here, and I know you guys aren't used to seeing me speculate, but there was just something about this. Boise to Sun Valley, like I said, 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's 155 miles. Could have gone straight there, but they didn't. And I guess where I'm going with this is, did the drugs that Brandon pick up, were they for Adrian? Was that going to be like a possible payment? I am hugely speculating here, but tell me it doesn't make sense. Tell me it doesn't make sense. Twin Falls to Sun Valley, 1 hour, 41 minutes, 83 miles. They have gone completely out of their way when they're just supposed to be going to a car show in Sun Valley. And like I said, Brandon, you aren't going to know where I got my information from. I'm not going to tell you who told me all of this.
Oh, she got a mole. There's a mole in the whole of Idaho, ratting on everybody. It's Crystal Jewel. How sad. And whoever she dug out from the depths of hell to tell on people, like Ricky Chambers, the one that beat Sarah when she was married in Texas to him. Yeah, she did that with the help of Brady. Brady told her to do that. Let me check him in chat real quick. Mm-hmm. Yep. In fact, the constant corrections made everything way worse. Exactly. It really got nasty then. Didn't they find a bunch of drugs near the house, Eve, like in a ditch? Do you remember that? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. And that's what I was pulling up as Samantha was talking about drugs. Brandon going to pick up drugs or whatever. There is let's just go to Facebook, shall we? I want you to see the date of something that came about. So, Fayette County Drug Task Force. I want you to look at the date that it became on Facebook, like when it was created, rather. It had been around for a while, okay, but the Facebook page is what is interesting. Or is it like a group? Mm-hmm. One moment. So it's kind of like a subdivision of the task force, the Idaho task force, and every county has their own section. And I even think Fruitland has a drug task force now. Have you noticed that they got a new drug canine? Or like a canine was awarded to them and like a whole new place. Like they even got a new building. Isn't that wonderful? Here we go. Narcotics task force. Excuse me, I put drugs. So let's look and see when this page, the Payette County Task Force, which again has been around for a hot minute, I think 2018, 16, 14, something like that. But when was it made? August 12th, 2021. Payette County is kind of behind on the times. They were the only ones that weren't reporting their arrests and things like that to the state accurately. So Payette County somehow, some way had to get their shit together on this. And I'll show you. They've been kind of active ever since this. There we go. This is what I was looking for. Yeah. August 12th, 2021. That was only, 2 weeks and a day maybe that Michael went missing. So obviously, there's an issue here with drugs in that county and the surrounding counties. It's not really a secret, but for those who aren't aware or familiar with Idaho, is really bad. And when I say really bad, that's an understatement. They're busing people left and right now. And ironically, one of the FBI agents that was on Michael's case or has worked cases like this for a very long time is now a sheriff in one of the counties, I believe Canyon. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If you know off the top of your head, but that's alarming that an FBI agent would say, "Yeah, I got to come in here and actually clean house." Because there's a lot of corrupt law enforcement officers who are actually handling things for around the family from Nez Perce County. I think that's how you say it. So this isn't looking good. I think this is complex because there's a lot of dangerous folks that have their hands in too many illegal cookie jars here that are backing everybody involved in this case. And I'm making a circumstantial inference. And it's alleged. So what did the Facebook page say when it was created, you might ask? On August 12th, 2021. Oif, look at that. Let's see. A lot of people were liking the post. Here we go. August 12th, 2021. Contact the Payette County Task Force tip line to speak to a task force member about any drug activity. You can remain anonymous. Interesting. How about that timing? Right? It was almost kind of like low key. If there's any drugs that you might think somebody delivered around the area in Fruitland or Payette County, if you don't want to be outed or you don't want to you don't want to be too scared to go to the police, contact the task force, which is ironically made up of the same people at the Fayette County. and Fruitland. So it's really just the same people. But I guess to make it easier or make somebody feel comfortable, that's what they did. Uh, yeah. So that's what they did, and I'm almost positive the FBI was here still at this time in week 2 or 3, and I'm pretty sure that they definitely pushed this to happen because every other county was on board. I don't know why Payette was so far behind. Caldwell was on board. Meridian, um, Idaho Falls, uh, everybody else was on board, but Payette was behind, as they always are. So then in December of 2021, they post this. DEA releases 2020 National Drug Threat Assessment. Let's listen. I need a break anyway. I gotta take a drink of water.
Washington, DEA Acting Administrator D. Christopher Evans today announced the release of the 2020 National Drug Threat Assessment, DEA's annual publication outlining the threats posed to the United States by domestic and international drug trafficking and the abuse of illicit drugs. This year's report shows the harsh reality of the drug threats facing communities across the United States, said Acting Administrator Evans. While the COVID-19 pandemic plagues this nation, so, too, do transnational criminal organizations and violent street gangs, adjusting to pandemic restrictions to flood our communities with dangerous drugs. DEA and our local, state, and federal partners continue to adapt to the ever-changing landscape, remaining focused on the current threats and looking to the horizon for emerging threats. We will always defend the American people against illicit substances that ruin lives, devastate families, and destroy communities. Drugs trends in the United States continue to evolve. While fentanyl and fentanyl analogs from China have decreased substantially following the DEA's 2018 emergency scheduling action of fentanyl-related substances and China's enactment of fentanyl class controls in May 2019, the opioid threat remains at epidemic levels, affecting large portions of the country. Meanwhile, the stimulant threat, including methamphetamine and cocaine, is worsening both in volume and reach, with traffickers selling increasing amounts outside of traditional markets. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 83,000 people lost their lives to drug-related overdoses in the 12-month period ending in July of 2020, a significant increase from 2019, when more than 70,000 people died of overdoses. 2020 NDTA findings of note: Mexican transnational criminal organizations, TCOs, remain the greatest criminal drug threat in the United States. Illicit fentanyl is one of the primary drugs fueling the epidemic of overdose deaths in the United States, while heroin and prescription opioids remain significant challenges to public health and law enforcement. Mexican cartels are increasingly responsible for producing and supplying fentanyl to the U.S. market. China remains a key source of supply for the precursor chemicals that Mexican cartels use to produce the large amounts of fentanyl they are smuggling into the United States. Drug poisoning deaths and seizures involving methamphetamine have risen sharply as Mexican TCOs increase the drug's availability and expand the domestic market.
I think that we have a good understanding that, excuse me, drug overdoses are happening. They're prosecuting people for drug overdoses, no matter who you are. So I don't know, maybe because there's so many people involved, perhaps outside of these 4 suspects, maybe, just maybe that's why so many know and they're not talking, because everybody goes down. Maybe, perhaps, that's just my speculation. I don't know shit. But this sounds pretty damn serious. The cartels and the smuggling and the fentanyl and the overdoses. 227% increase in overdoses in teens in Idaho from 2022 to 2023. That's bad. That's horrible stats. I would get the hell out of Dodge there if I had any teens living there. I mean, that's just scary statistics. Even Houston, I don't think is that bad. So they post that in December of 2021. And then they update their phone number. And then in May of 2022, I shit you not, they updated again. So that was it. That's all they got. Okay. Not sure what the point of that was. I mean, usually when you start something like that, you keep it up. Like Caldwell does it and everybody else. So now we're going to have to stop because I'm going to actually have, I don't want to promote whoever this is, but I'm just going to say this. It's getting late. I'm going to do another live, but there is something going on right now, I think in regards to Stacey Wandra and either saying where Michael is and all that stuff. It's actually playing right now. Let's see. Who is it? Oh, it's Missing PNW. Go give your girl a shout out. She's playing it right now. If you would like to go over there and watch it, I'm definitely going to do it. You're free to do so, wink wink. So let's maybe chat about it another day. All right, guys, because this is interesting. I want to watch it. I just want to make sure. Okay, we're going to go over that next. And then the Pope twins and all that shit. Guys, thank you for sticking with me for 2 hours. Thank you so much for being here. Much love to you. Justice for Michael Vaughan and his family. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Bye.
Thank you for being with me while doing live streams. It means a lot to me. You are appreciated. Next life, take care and spend
Much
your
love to you,
energy
Jen.
wisely. See you on next life, take care and spend your energy wisely.